Today we're going to talk about tangents, and especially about tangents that can occur in comics. You've probably all seen those photos where people take a picture together and then person A and person 2 stand so close together and all their body parts like arms and legs stick out in weird ways, so you cannot really see whose leg is whose leg and whose arm is whose arm, and sometimes it can look really grotesque of like suddenly you have a third arm coming out of your shoulder. That is stuff to look out for in art as well, and that has a name, and it is called tangents. You see it sometimes too when you put two elements close together and it suddenly seems like there's a character and they have a giant car sitting on their head because the car and the character are touching. Those are tangents, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Welcome back to Pencils and Stories. My name is Henrike and I make and teach comics. If you want to make your own comics as well, then feel free to subscribe to this YouTube channel. A tangent is something touching that should not be touching because it's either awkward looking or it kills the depth in your artwork. I want to talk about three types of tangents that can occur in comics, and that is gutter tangents when it comes to two pages next to each other, artwork tangents, which is present in all of artwork ever, and then we have balloon tangents. Balloons that are actually not supposed to be touching each other. So first, the gutters. When you have two pages next to each other, you want to make sure that the gutters are not stretching out from one page to the next, because that looks like those two halves are connected, and they're actually not, because you read a page like this. You also don't want to have them slightly almost touchy, because that's gonna just look really bad and really awkward. So since I want to print my comic eventually, for a pure webcomic that doesn't really matter, but I want to print my comic eventually, so I always make sure that I have my two pages next to each other and to do layout actually for two pages at the same time, always, just to avoid this issue. Then you have artwork tangents. They are usually the most awkward when it comes to having two shapes not completely overlap, but being close enough that our brains start to connect them together. Especially when characters stand at different distances from the camera, you don't want their artwork to be kind of touching each other, because it will just kill the depth. It'll just pull them together and all your depth is gone. If you want to do overlap, go for it. Make them overlap, or make them stand a little bit more apart from each other, but don't have those awkward tangents, because it just looks weird. And then in comics, you can have this really weird thing happening because you're dealing with multiple panels next to each other. If you have two panels next to each other and you kind of switch camera angle, you can actually have the same two things touch each other almost, with a gutter in between. And that can look really awkward. I've seen one of the most awkward ones at one point was a comic where there was a car that in the one panel was on the right side of the screen, and then the next panel was on the left side of the screen. And it was just this little sliver of a car and then a little sliver of a car with a gutter in between, but it just looked like one car, but really thin. It just looked really bad. So you might want to look out for that as well when you're doing comics. And then lastly, we have balloon tangents. Which means balloons touching that are not really supposed to be touching. Because if balloons touch each other, we get the feeling of having to read them next to each other. I made a lot of these mistakes actually in the beginning of Recollection City, because I have a certain style where I will blend the balloon into my gutter. I will have the balloon hug the side of my panels, and it actually bleeds into the gutter. If I have two panels stacked on top of each other, and then I will have a balloon sitting at the bottom, and then that's panel 1, and then panel 3 or 4 has a balloon at the top, it might actually look like those balloons are connected and they're supposed to be read together. Well, that's not the case. It's supposed to be going horizontal. Those are very bad balloon tangents that you need to look out for as well. I hope that was helpful to be aware of the stuff to look out for when you're making your comic. That was it for this week's video. Be sure to check out the giveaway that I'm running on Twitter and Instagram. It is a giveaway to win free access to my new course, my new upcoming course that I'm creating called How to Make a Comic. You can find the links to the giveaway for Twitter and Instagram in the description below. You can enter 2 times. You can enter on Twitter and on Instagram, so you have 2 chances of winning. Let me know why you want to make comics and what your biggest struggle is in getting started. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and for now, go out and make some comics.